Hello and welcome to an unscripted video. You might be wondering, Nil, why is the background an old photo of you with the cheeseburger on your head? Well, that is thanks to Peebles. That is going to be the album art for Sigil. I'm also going to have Shrek jerking off as one of my album arts, so don't worry about it. I just, whatever people make is whatever I use. I give artists free reign. So let's talk about what I've learned after 3,000 tracks. The first thing is nobody's going to come to you no matter how much you make. You're going to have to go to them. You're going to have to annoy the shit out of people constantly being like, hey, do you need music for your project? Do you need music for your game, for your video, for this or that? And the only way to really avoid that and, annoying people in DMs is if you want to work on game jams. It's one of the things I've learned. If you want to actually collaborate with people, go to itch.io, look for game jams that interest you, join the servers, and pray to God that your music can impress somebody enough to where they're like, hey, I'd like to have you on the team, even though it's always free music, and even there it's a bit of a competition. Now, I'm lucky enough right now to be working on 3 different game jams at once. Sometimes that happens, sometimes I go months where nobody picks me up. Despite the amount of tracks I've made and despite putting my best ones in for the showcases, but that's just how it rolls. Another thing I've learned, VSTs are fucking expensive. Right now I want to up my game and get Metropolis Arc 1, right? It's like $800 Canadian. And fun fact, a lot of these VSTs are not rent to own. If they were rent to own, I feel, I could be using it. I could pay it off in probably 8 months if I'm paying $80, $90 a month for it. But that's just not how a lot of it works. So in the beginning, you're going to be stuck with a lot of stock VST plugins, which they just sound like straight ass. I'm sorry to tell you, they sound like dookie. The next thing, if you want to upload your music to Spotify, etc., use DistroKid. Why am I saying that despite it having not the best reputation anymore? Because if you use other stuff like CD Baby and TuneCore, you're going to have to pay $49 for each album and $29 for each single. Whereas on DistroKid, you don't have to do that. You just have to pay your yearly fee for your account. Now, if you want to upgrade it to Legacy and keep it up forever, even after you die, it will cost you the same amount as it would on TuneCore or CD Baby just to upload it. But to upload it on DistroKid is free. You can upload as much as you want. Believe me, again, I have over 3,000 fucking tracks. So yeah, use DistroKid if you can. They also have a referral link, which if you're gonna, show any of your friends DistroKid, make sure you give them the link because they get 7% off, and you get a nice crisp $10 in your account. Royalties. Oh boy, royalties. I've been making music for 7 years, and I've made only $1,600 across all streaming services. That includes Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Prime Music or Amazon Music Unlimited actually pays the most. So that's where I've made probably 60 to 70% of my profits from Amazon. Spotify, where I've made probably the least amount of profit, funnily enough. You're going to have your royalties, but they're never going to be big. The most that you're going to get is pocket change unless you're getting hundreds of thousands of plays a day. And I say a day because even with 500,000, you're making hold on. There's actually we're gonna go to the web browser. We're gonna go to the web browser. So let's say you have 500,000 streams. You've made $119. Sorry, that's 50,000. So 500,000 streams is what you'll likely need every single month just to, pay the bills. And even then, that's not really enough. Rent and groceries and all that, we'll say it's about $2,500 to live off of. Okay, so we'll say that you need 1.1 million streams a month just to stay afloat without needing, another job. And even then, you'll probably need a part-time job because you're going to need clothes. Stuff's going to break in your house. You're going to want to buy shit. You're going to need to pay for gas. I'm sorry to say, music's it's not easy. What you're better off to do, in all actuality, is get a SoundCloud that you can promote your music on. This is part 1. You're gonna see a behind the scenes here, a little behind the scenes. And yeah, I schedule my music in advance, but you're going to want to upload consistently to SoundCloud if you want any form of plays. And even with the amount that I've made, I'm only getting this. And SoundCloud is, I think, $20 a month. So if you don't want to go the SoundCloud route, there's actually an even better option that I forgot about until now. It's called Bandcamp. Now, Bandcamp is completely free. It's completely free to use. You keep 70% of the royalties that you make. And Bandcamp Fridays, the first Friday of every month, you get to keep 100% of your royalties. You can see here, like, I upload my music on Bandcamp before anywhere else, simply because I actually can make a profit off it. Now, nobody has ever bought from my Bandcamp, so I don't know why I'm showing it. But yeah, royalties, you're not going to be making money in music, so you have to be doing it for the passion. Like, genuinely, if you're not passionate about music, you're in the wrong business. Only the top 1% actually get any money from it. Another thing is collaborations. This has happened to me a lot, where people are always like, yeah, I'm down to collaborate, yeah, I'm down. They'll bail at the last moment every time. Every fucking time. Now, maybe that's just a me thing, but I've noticed it quite a lot. Also, when you're making music for game projects, a lot of the time they're going to want revision after revision after revision, and it doesn't matter how good you do, the track's never good enough for them. That's another thing that you have to deal with, even when you're making the music for free. I've made 46 indie video game soundtracks now, and some of them are cool about it, some of them aren't. Like Into the Wild, for example. If I make a track, they don't like it, they just say, okay, we're going to scrap it. Can you make a new one? It's like, yeah, that's fine. And then there are other ones like The Wild Stars where they're like, no, we're going to keep it, but you have to revise it. And it's like, okay, I'll revise it. And they're like, no, you have to revise it again. And they'll do that like 5 to 10 times, and then they'll just say, no, now we're scrapping it. So you have to kind of get used to that. Another thing that you have to get used to is internet trolls. People who will just go to you, say your music sucks, you should quit, all that fun stuff, and you have to deal with that on the daily. I deal with more trolls and more negative individuals than I do positive individuals when it comes to my music. And I think that's just a thing for most small indie creators when it comes to their own music professions. We're not professionals, we're not like Jay-Z, we're not Drake, we're not Kendrick Lamar, we're not Avik or Skrillex. Obviously, very few of us can be that talented and that skilled, but all music has a place in this world. It doesn't matter how good or bad it is. I say upload it anyways. That's what I do. Just upload it anyways. Build your record. Build your catalog over time. And people see your music will just get better and better and better. And you'll be able to make it more quickly, more efficiently. You'll learn new skills along the way. So my advice is, like, even through all the hatred, just keep going. I did get one video though, I've made 3,000 songs and nobody cared, which I didn't think would do well. Surprisingly it did. There's a lot of love in the comment section there, and I'm very grateful for it. You'll sometimes get little bursts like that where people come to you with positive energy, and it motivates you to keep going. You need that every now and then. Something else is share your music with your friends. Not every single song that you make, but the ones that you're proud of. Listen to their critiques, and if somebody to every song that you send is like, yeah, this is great, this is perfect, this is amazing, stop sending them that music. You don't need a parade of ass kissers and yes men. You need people who are going to actually tell you what's good, what's bad, give you some critique. So then the times that they do say this is really good, you know that they're being completely honest about it. You know that they're not just lying through their teeth because they're your friend and they don't want to hurt your feelings. And while that's, a kind gesture, tell people that their work's good, even when it's not, it's going to get them in this mindset that they're on the right track when they're not. So that's why I also recommend joining music servers where feedback is an option. Give feedback to other people, learn music theory, put your own work in, listen to the critiques that you get, ask questions, listen to the advice, and just go for it. When it comes to your social media, you also have to be active. We're not in a day and age where just posting your music will get you listens or views. Look at me, for example, right? I'm only starting to do social media now, and it's kind of kicking me in the ass because I have no clue how to do it. If I had started, managing my social media when I first started making music, like posting it all on X, posting it all on Tumblr, posting it all everywhere instead of now being 3,000 tracks in and not knowing where to start, not knowing if I want to put my full catalog on all my socials or just the good ones, and being stuck in that, I want to archive everything versus that's going to turn people away if it's really bad at the beginning. You won't have to deal with that if you just start when you begin. You won't have to deal with that because you'll always be showing people your newest stuff right out the gate, what you're capable of right out the gate. You'll be getting real-time feedback out the gate instead of people being confused and being like, I thought you made music for X amount of years, why does it sound like this? And you have to go in and explain, and just gets awkward and becomes a mess of a thread. That's fun. You're going to want to have as many social media platforms as you can, and how you want to manage that, or at least how I'm managing mine or will be, is through an app called Deliver It. You want to select 10 of your socials so that you don't have to pay too much each year. From there, you can do 150 posts at a time. You want to keep all of your text, like your text post, to X, and all of your media posts where you're actually, putting up your music with the video background, because no fucking website allows MP3 or WAV for some stupid reason. You have to go in and edit it in a video editor first. You have to set up a proper schedule. You cannot fuck up that schedule or your fan base you'll see a decline when you come back. I recommend at least 1 track a week if you can keep up with that, 1 every 2 weeks at the bare minimum. For myself, I'm going to be doing at least 1 track a day that I post on my socials. Even then, that can be overkill. It can be too much if you're like me and you just post repeatedly like a fucking machine gun. If you're capable of that speed, it can turn people away because they just see it as like spam. Also, at the same time, if you upload every single day, people might think that your music is AI generated, and for people who don't AI generate their music, that's going to be like a kick in the nuts. I would say keep your music off of Facebook because automatically they copyright everything I make, so they'll probably do the same to you. And when I say everything, I mean literally fucking everything, and they have been doing that since 2018 when I started trying to upload my music to Facebook. I've tried here and then, and the same thing happens. The same with Newgrounds. If you use any form of drum loop, like I usually use drum loops, and you put the music on Newgrounds, it's going to ban you from the audio portal after like 2 or 3 times, even after you prove your case every single time that it's not copyrighted. And that's your own music, and the only thing you used was a drum loop, and Newgrounds doesn't care. Keep your music off of Newgrounds unless you really want your music in Geometry Dash. Even then, I'd say it's not worth it. Something else to keep in mind as you're a musician is you're going to have days where you're just burnt out and you can't make music, and that's completely fine. We all have that. You're going to want to have tips and strategies to get you through that burnout if you feel that you need to keep creating. I every single day I have to open up FL Studio for at least an hour. Like I have to be in it for an hour at the bare minimum. Even if I'm not making anything and I'm just, playing around on my keyboard. Like I feel the need I have to at least practice. And that's something else as well. You're going to want to practice and get a MIDI keyboard if you do electronic or digital music. I didn't start using mine until a few months ago, I think October of 2025. And already I've learned, a few melodies like Nightmares from God Hand USA. That's like the bass line throughout the entire track. You're going to want to imitate people who you listen to and whose music you really enjoy. For me, I listen to a lot of glitch hop and hip hop, which is funny because I never make glitch hop or hip hop. But you're going to want to listen to the music, you're going to want to try and practice it, learn some of the chords and some of the melodies, change them around, make them your own and unique, find your own style as you progress. So go like, I'm going to imitate artist A, artist B, and artist C, Focus on them one at a time. Try to combine all their styles together and put your own flair in it, and you've got your own style. The only hard part is that when you do that, it's still going to take you a year or two to really figure everything out. And as I said before, for the first year or so that you make music, expect it to be terrible. Don't expect greatness like right out the gate. Because I've talked to a lot of people who are like, oh, I've tried music, I can't do it, I'll never be able to do it. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody can do jack and or shit when they first fucking start, right? You have to build your skill, and it takes time, it takes effort, it takes practice, it takes dedication. Nobody's just born with talent. Well, a few people are, but very, very few. For the vast majority of us, it comes through hard work. Another thing that you're going to have to do is, I'm currently working 2 jobs, and I'm saving up for college. So eventually I'm going to have to do all 3 at once, and that's going to be a nightmare for me. You're going to have to find ways for yourself to have proper time management. You're going to need time for your family, for your friends, for your social media, for creating your music, for uploading your music, which funnily enough it does take time because you have to go through it one by one, at least on DistroKid and Bandcamp. Especially if you don't have Bandcamp Pro, you have to wait a fucking mile because they only accept WAV. I would say when people really would start liking their music is 3 to 5 years in. When you start music, you have to be ready to give up 3 years of your life really learning the craft. You don't have to learn music theory, you don't have to go to college, though they will speed up the process to like 1 or 2 years. But you have to be in FL Studio, I would say at least 1 to 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 times a week if you want to improve. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck at your current skill level. You're going to want to look up tutorials on FL Studio in the genre that you want to create. And here's what I'll say. For the first year that you're learning FL Studio or any DAW of your choice, don't focus on a genre. Just focus on like really familiarizing yourself with the GUI, the piano roll, all the features, because they're going to come in handy someday. That's something I wish I had done. I just focus on the melodies first, and I'm like a melody wizard at this point. I can come up with a melody immediately. But I never learned the mixing early on. I never learned the mastering early on. And now I'm 9 years into this and I still struggle with fucking EQ. Which is embarrassing to say. As a musician of 9 years, over 3,000 tracks, I still struggle with the basics. I can do the advanced stuff just fine at this point. You know, I can do like jazz and all that. But you have me go into the mixer rack, total blank. Only thing I know how to do on there is do little voice filter things. Other things is, a lot of the times that you're working on indie games, people are going to want you to splice the audio, like make your own sound effects and put it over video format. This has happened so many times where I've had to explain to them I'm not a video editor, I'm a musician. Where they'll send me like movie clips of their game and be like, hey, I need you to put sound effects over this whole thing. And it's like, okay. That's not the job description. I make the sound effects and I make the music. I don't do the editing overlays. That's up to somebody else. You need to find an animator for that. Or at the very least a video editor. That's not part of my job, but everybody seems to think it is. I don't know if that whole section got removed or not, because my video editor of choice, XSplit, it shit the bed there. So I do apologize if anything happened there. But just to recap, musicians are not video editors. We're not skilled in it. Well, not a lot of us. But it will be expected of you at points. And if you have a GPU like mine, a GTX 1070, you're not going to be able to run Filmora or Vegas Pro or any of those without it crashing every 2 minutes. But yeah, for the first year that you're in music, really just focus on familiarizing yourself with the program. Try to learn how to make chords, how to make melodies, how to do EQ, and really learn how to use that limiter. You're going to want to have most of your tracks around the same dB, because you don't want to have somebody listen to your album and the first track's like really quiet and the second one just blasts their ears out. Moreover, if it goes above 0 dB, you're in the threshold for it having a little bit of distortion, and if you go above, I think it's 3 or 6 dB, you're going to have a lot of distortion. Like, it's going to be very noticeable, and it's just going to ruin the track unless you're going for that like really crunchy aggro vibe, which if you want to go for that, that's completely fine. There are a lot of genres that do that, like hyperpop, hard trap, stuff like that. In your second year, you should focus on just one genre. Learn the tricks and the trade of it, because every genre has different kind of unwritten rules to it. I know that music is just, what you make of it, but there are unwritten rules. Like, if I were to make future bass, you can use jazzy chords in pretty well anything, but I wouldn't use it in future bass. I'd use basic chords first and maybe some sevenths. I wouldn't use 9th, 11th, or 13th notes. And if I'm making hyperpop, I really wouldn't do that. But if I'm doing like rhythm and blues, I'm doing jazz or electro swing, I might add in those, those spicy chords, those out of key notes that otherwise I wouldn't use in different genres. And I would say you want to focus on one thing first. You want to focus on either music that uses traditional instruments and focus on buying VSTs for that, or electronic instruments and buying VSTs for that. Reason being, every genre has different sounds to it. Like, if you're trying to make smooth jazz and you're using Serum, I don't think it's going to go well, right? And if you're doing hyperpop and you're using orchestral instruments, that could go over well, but I highly doubt it. It's not going to fit the bill. So maybe for the second year, actually focus on either traditional instruments or electronic. Once you've got that down in year 3, really find your niche. This is a point where your music's starting to sound good, where it's starting to be listenable. Your friends are probably liking some of it. You're probably getting invited to more game jam projects. This is where you have to make a choice of what genre do I want to make. Now, I never did this. I've always just, I've been parkour. I just jump from one to the next every day. If you want to really get noticed and you want to have a proper fan base, do not be like me and don't do that. What you're going to want to do is the opposite of what I do, which is, again, find your niche. So if you start out making house music, spend year 3 learning house. Spend year 4 then learning, maybe you want to do progressive house. Take year 4 to learn progressive house. Take year 5 to learn electro house. Take year 6 to learn big room house. Until you can comfortably fit all subgenres of house into your repertoire. Once you feel comfortable enough with that main genre of house for EDM, move on to something different. Try glitch hop or dubstep or complextro, really whatever you want to do. By year 10, I'd say you can explore all genres as much as you want. And as much as I'd love for this video to keep going, my dog's going off, so I'm going to have to end it here. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and this is some of what I've learned after making 3,000 instrumentals. Have a good day.